His company's been around for almost 100 years. The 18-wheeler who has no fears. Breaker 19. I've got Paul Barcelos here today. Hey, Paul, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, my wife wrote it for me, so I've got to give her full credit. She's
nice.
She's the poet, and I didn't know it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
We're working on our next rap album together, so it's going to be a really good Christmas rap album we've been putting on.
Oh, good. Gonna have a lot of moaning or something like that going on.
I think SoundCloud might take it down. So Paul Barcelos, I think a lot of people are familiar with your face now through social media. I think you're the king of Compost, the king of trucking, all around the entire state. I mean, you've really grown this great business, and I don't think a lot of people know a whole lot about you maybe outside of what they're quite seeing on social media. So I'd love to dive into that a little bit today. You're a really great family business that everyone's involved in. But for the people that are getting their first glimpse at Paul Barcelos, who are you and what is Cain Trucking and Cain Compost?
Well, that's a good one right there. Cain Trucking has been around a lot of years. So 1925 that's what shows record that we have on record there that we got started. But we do have a picture there that's kind of blurry and it looks like 1914. And that was with the old steam engine tractor pulling a wagon and a dude right in the back open up the valves, to spread the oil on the roads and stuff like that. So that's what we got on that part. But 1925 is what we're claiming. That way, 2025 we can actually have our centennial anniversary party there.
100-year party in the Elk Lodge.
Yeah, we'll do. Well, it'd be in the lodge right there in the back there in the shop, so it'd be pretty good.
Nice.
So yeah, we're looking forward to that part. Like anything else, getting through all these here tough times that we're in. Every industry is getting hammered this year, so it's a tough one. Everybody's having a few struggles, but hopefully it'll all turn out. Got to stay positive and keep pushing.
So the company started then originally doing oil?
Yeah, doing road oils. That was the number one deal that we did. So pretty much all the roads that got built in Tulare County when they first got built, Cain Trucking was there to do the oil on those roadways, and a lot of roads in the valley here over the years. And then we started doing some agricultural products, hauling. We did some citrus for a little bit, always trying to find some wintertime work. That's when it's slow on the construction side. And, Glenn Cain started the company. Then Bill Cain came back from the war and took it and ran with the whole thing there. And he worked a long time trying to get a citrus deal put together to keep guys busy, not a money maker, but it creates revenue for the guys to keep them busy. And then back in those days, you didn't have no cell phones or nothing like that. So it's all landline, right? People call, and that's you answer the phone in the office. And pretty much he wasn't there that day. Bill Cain wasn't. He was in a truck, and the customer called, and Bill's dad answered the phone there, and he was he answered it, and the guy was like, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move forward with you guys hauling the citrus to L.A." So his dad was like, "We don't haul that shit," and hung up on him. So that threw a wrench in the whole program. That all went out the door. So never got it back again on that part there. But kind of interesting. And we moved forward in that. You had a guy involved hauling manure, dairy manure. Did a lot of that, gypsum, lime, all kinds of stuff like that. Soil amendments. Got delivered out to the farmers that we would sell, and kind of went on. From there, got into the compost part of it, and the reason we ended up in the compost program is back in the late 70s, and we were hauling for a company, and eventually got to the point they didn't pay the bill, and there was a pretty big debt load there. So Bill Cain acquired the company, and that made it the marketing side of Cain Trucking to sell material. So operated like that for a while. Eventually, Butch Gimlin, he was a mechanic there, became an owner. My wife's grandmother, Wanda, she worked in the office, secretary, but also dispatch trucks, all that stuff there. And he sold the stocks out to both of them, and had one other guy named Ralph that was also in that other company that he acquired, stayed there with us and took care of the marketing side. And that's kind of where it went, because Bill's family all passed away about the age of 65.
Wow. So
he figured he's going to pass away about that same time frame too as well. So that's why he sold the stock out to these people that put a lot of time in, a lot of hard work. And he was still president of the company. I came here November 3rd of 2002 is when I came to Cain Trucking, and he was still president even at that time, and then eventually he stepped down, and Butch Gimlin ended up moving up into being a president there. Mm-hmm. And I came here with an opportunity. They were trying to get me. I grew up in the dairy business, farming. That's what we did. had trucks there to haul silage in, and one time we got slow and sitting there, and I reached out here to Butch, and they needed help hauling compost. So I got in that truck and started going, and it was like 50 miles an hour loaded and 65 coming back when you're empty, because that truck didn't have no horsepower or nothing like that. And I carried a 5-gallon jug of diesel with me, because that's what it took to make the 4 loads down to Bakersfield and back. And that got me home to get back and get filled up. So we did that for a while, and Butch eventually ended up dating my mother-in-law. She worked at the yard there at the office, the company, for a lot of years. I mean, she's semi-retired now, so she's been in there for pushing 50 years now that she's been there. So, anyways, Butch was trying to get me to come over here for an opportunity. So at that time, I was hauling hay, because I ran a lot of flatbed trucks off the dairy, hauling freight and hay all over the place. All these other states, and it's kind of interesting. One day we're at dinner, and Butch, he's like, "Hey, Paul, maybe you want to come over here and work with us, because the road's always got to get oiled." I was like, "Yeah, you're right. That's got to happen." But at that time, I was hauling hay too, going freight and hay coming back the other way. I said, "But the cows got to get fed every day." And he started laughing. He says, "Yeah, you're right. Can't argue that one." So, anyways, went down the road a little further, a few more years, and eventually on my side of the family, my side of the business, because the trucks were all tied in with the dairy, and Mom and Dad decided that that's not a good lifestyle for me, because I was gone all the time. I was on the road trucking
hay. Were you going to a lot of other states then?
Yeah, we ran a lot. I mean, pretty much all the way out to Colorado, Texas, Kansas, and Wyoming. We brought hay back this way, hay that way. I mean,
a lot of feedlot country area.
Yep. Yeah, it was a lot of moving hay. A lot went to the presses, to get shipped overseas, and we were moving all over the place. And I'd be driving too. So I dispatched about 17 trucks from the seat of my truck when I was driving.
So they had cell phones at this time then?
Well, this time there, he finally got to 2. He had a bag phone. That's what I started out with, was a bag phone, right?
I don't even know what a bag phone is. I think I might be giving away my age.
How about a phone that hangs on the dash of your vehicle or anything like that? You know those?
Okay. I've seen them in a movie, I think.
Yeah, that's right. That's way before your time, yeah. So it's I started with a bag phone. You had some pay phones. That was always a hard deal, trying to find a spot that you can park a truck at and make a phone call. Then eventually you got to have enough change. So then got into the calling card program, right, to call. The bag phone was great, because that helped out a whole bunch as far as that goes. And then, once you got upgraded, now I had to run 2 cell phones, because the minute plan wasn't big enough for all the minutes that you would use on the cell phone, so it was real expensive. So one phone was for outgoing calls, the other one's for receiving calls.
So everyone for you had 2 phone numbers then?
Nope, I only gave out 1 phone number, and that's the one for them to call me on.
And then you would just call them on a random number every time, that's right. Basically.
Yep, call them the different number, call them back, whatever, So did a lot of that. Now that we got the big plans, it's actually a whole lot better. 1 cell phone, you can do it all. So that was a big thing. But we got into that. Yeah, now, I mean, payphones and newspaper stands. Those are my favorite, because you go put your finger in there and you always come out with a quarter or something like that. There's none of that available no more. So going out to eat now, it's no excitement to go put your finger in a newspaper stand, see if you get lucky, which usually my family will screw with me. My wife and the boys will go hurry up and get outside while I'm paying the bill, and they'll go and put quarters in all the newspaper stands for me. And that way, when I come out, that's the first thing I do is go put my fingers in there and get them out. And I come out with about $2 out of all the newspaper stands. So I'm all super excited, grabbing it, holding it up, said, "Look, I got some money here," And they're all laughing and find out to be they're the ones that put it in there, but they just want to see me get excited, So, that was fun there. But yeah, on the family business at home, that's where I got out of it, because they didn't like that lifestyle. I was gone all the time, So that's when the eventually said, "Hey, we're going to stop, and that's going to be it there." I said, "Well, sell me the trucks." They wouldn't do it. And that's okay, So I had an opportunity here. That's where I came, with an opportunity. Didn't talk about what I'm going to get paid or anything. I came with an opportunity, and it's up to me to take it and run, And that's what I did.
I love how you always, every time I've talked to you about this topic, you always phrase it as it was an opportunity. And I think that's such a cool piece, because from what I know, and viewers or listeners might not know, is you decided pretty quickly college was not for you, and you ran this entire route and met your wife, and she supported you this whole way alongside with you, right? Growing this whole business. And so for those, people that maybe college isn't for you, I mean, you're running a business that's almost been around for 100 years. I mean, there's only 1,000 businesses in the U.S. that have been around for 100 years. That is a huge accomplishment.
Less than 1,000, yeah, exactly right.
Yep.
So, yeah, my wife, I mean, she's whole family, a big supporter. I mean, I know there'll be a special place in heaven whenever that time comes for her, because she put up with a lot, I'll tell you that, we started dating in high school. She was a year older than I was, and I was kind of starting to make a wrong turn, going down the wrong path a little bit, and we hooked up and kind of got me pulled back on track, and pretty much we're high school sweethearts. So that time there, she went to college, and I ditched high school the one day, and I sat in class with her, which, the things you do for, chasing after women or whatever you're going to do, I guess, or the one you love. But so that's what I did. I sat in college in class with her. And the only thing I learned that day is that college wasn't for me, So now I'm in the school of hard knocks, and that's always super expensive because if you screw up, you pay for it pretty heavily on these deals, right? So you got to make the right decisions on things. But yeah, we've been married almost 30 years. Coming up here pretty quick, it'll be almost 30 years being married.
Wow.
And then we were married. I got married. I was at the age of 18. Graduated high school early. Got married that following March with her. And 2 years later, we had Paul Jr. He's the oldest. And then a year later was Jason. And that was it, just two boys, and kind of kept on going from there. And that was always hard when you're a long haul driver, gone all the time or whatever. And the kids get to a certain age, they're crying because dad's leaving or whatever, and that tugs on your heart pretty heavily. It's pretty strong, pretty tough, And a lot of guys out there, drivers, they understand that, and families, it's a tough one. So, trucking is not an easy deal, but it's important just as much as ag. Ag is important, and transportation is the second part that's super important keeps this nation running too, just as well. You got all the other companies that come after that to support everything, right? So it's a big program. But yeah, we came in here. I make fourth generation in here. My wife worked here prior to me at Cain Trucking. She was doing the payroll and all that stuff there during high school and everything. She was working out there just as well, and still there today. We just kind of keep on going. And when again, we've grown this company. Pretty proud of it too, just as well, from where we were to where we're at today. But we didn't do it alone. It takes all of our employees. It's involved all of our customers and vendors. It takes everybody to make this whole thing happen. It's a whole network of people. So you can't give enough thanks for everybody for us to be successful. But you definitely gotta have faith and believe, and it all works out. And that's a big thing. That's a big thing for us.
Yeah.
And so fourth generation, we're going for it. See how it all plays out. We're really diversified now from what we used to be, and a lot of people here in the company now as well. And even the two boys, daughter-in-laws, they're all here in the company as well, working here in the office and outside, and that's a big thing.
You've got 65 employees, I think you said, right?
Yeah, we're 65 employees, running about 50 trucks, company trucks, and then anything extra is usually outside trucks that we hire off and on to help us out.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yep. Got into the nut program, hauling a lot of nuts up and down California, all over the place. It's just unbelievable how fast it's grown, on that part. And this is our seventh. Yeah, this 2023 was our 7th year of hauling nuts, and we really produce on that part. That's a big thing. Service. Service.
And you guys probably do have one of, if the best service in California, because I've seen it when you use service. It's also I used to actually use your guys' compost, right? I was in the soil amendment game a little bit early in my career, and I'd always use Cain Compost. I'd give you or Mark a call and try to get some loads moving. And I always knew that you guys had trucks. If you didn't have it, you were going to find it. I knew that the compost would always come at good quality. I knew it would be there when I asked for it. So it was kind of like that no fear moment of giving that phone call. Yeah. I had some trouble cross using some other things, and I just found you guys, and it ended up being really good for us. But I think that's, from what I've seen from the business side, I think it's because your employees care just as much as you do about the business, about the client. Like you treat your employees like they are your kids. Like they are your family. Yeah.
We try to take care of all of our people as best as possible, and it's we're definitely some trying times with the economy and everything, the way things are. Everything's going. The cost of operations has gone through the roof. And I've been on both sides. I've been on the dairy side, the farming side, and now on the trucking side, the transportation. And it's a tough one. You try to help each other out as best as you can, but having good people, good employees in this whole mix is a big deal. So compost wise, we do have the highest quality compost in the state of California. I haven't found anything else different that can even compete with us. With that, our Metro might be a little bit more expensive, but you're not comparing apples to apples. It's apples and oranges, and we put a lot of money into it to process and do what we do to make it the quality it is. So you're getting a good quality product, good service, and we try to keep the cost down as much as we can for everybody, and it just goes. It sells itself once they see it, and the service is a big part. That's how we're successful, because we're able to make the whole thing do as a turnkey.
How many tons of compost do you normally push in 1 year? I mean, and you've grown drastically over the last few, right?
Yeah, so we got 3 yards now. Our main yard is 120 acres. That one there we're permitted for a couple 100,000 tons. And then we got 2 other yards. One in Tulare, there's another one in Tipton, on the other side of the freeway, east side from our other yard. And last year was our biggest year combined with all the tonnage we did. We shipped out almost 300,000 tons last year. Wow. So, and that was a big year. And we still had material to be able to keep going for the springtime, So this year being a down year, the Healthy Souls program is not quite kicking off the way it needs to be for the farmers, You got some guys are still on it, which is good. So they're able to get the compost for that scenario. But the market's pricing is tough for everybody, So everybody's in survival mode right now, and trying to get through this whole deal here. But they still put the compost on. You're still, you get a lot of bang for your buck with compost. Versus other fertilizers, you're getting something there, and it'll come back. You get all that, get everything back into the ground the way it needs to be, the way Mother Nature intended everything to be.
Yeah, so, I mean, compost, right? It's organic. So.
That's right. Ours is certified organic, OMRI and CDFA certified. Got all the food safeties. I mean, we go above and beyond. I mean, our testing is not a cheap deal, but this is what you got to have in order to be the premium. Quality product,
to be competitive, to go to large firms like you guys go to too, and be able to provide them what they need to meet the standard that they have for their suppliers.
Yep, exactly.
Everything along that side. With Cain Trucking being such an intertwined family business, because you said both boys, Junior and Jason, are both involved in it. Luckily, I think you've seen both sons kind of love one different side of the business.
Yeah, that makes it a little bit easier. Junior, he's more the mechanic. Not the mechanic, but more the equipment guy, So he's taking care of the composting operations there, run the equipment. That he does the dispatch for the pistachio program there and the compost. And then Jason, he's in the mechanic side. He takes care of the shops, doing all the repairs, that type of deal like that. And he's they're both really good with what they do on each area, and that's great, because now with all this technology. I mean, I'm still in the trenches with a shovel digging as far as that goes, because there's all these computers and sensors and this and that. I mean, that's all just gibberish to me anymore when they start talking about these things on these here trucks and engines and all that. It's like, what the heck? We'll bypass that sucker. We should be able to run it or whatever, right? But it's a whole different deal nowadays, But he understands it, so it's interesting there. But Jason did go to college. He went to the Reedley College over there and took the CAT program, and that fine-tune them that much more into the electronics and all that. And
the CAT program focuses on what's diesel engines and
diesel
things
engines.
Like that.
Yep, diesel engines. Overhauls, the electronics of it, the whole thing. So it was pretty good. Which it don't matter. You go into heavy equipment or you go into trucks. It's the motors are all the same, pretty much. So it's a pretty simple deal to understand it. So that was a good program for him.
Does one of the sons? I know you guys will do some fabrication as well. Is one of the sons really focused on the fabrication side too, or the whole family's focused on that?
No, I mean, we all look at it and stuff, that's more, I get a lot of ideas on stuff, and I got my foreman there, Dale, he does an amazing job and makes all the magic happen when it comes to fabbing things up and all that. I mean, he does a heck of a job there, so it's, I got all these ideas. I talk to him and explain to him what I'm thinking or this or that, and he just goes for it, and it just turns out awesome, So it's always a one-off type of thing. We do a lot of custom deals. Yep. So when we hire guys for the fabrication side, I'll ask the guys, are you a fabricator or a welder? You know the difference, and some guys don't know the difference, and some will try to do it, but it's like, we need fabricators here because everything's a one-off deal. Mm-hmm. It's all custom. So we do a lot of that deals. We build our own trailers in-house, repairs, all that kind of stuff like that. So it's a big program.
You guys also, because a lot of people may not realize you have the liquid fertilizer side too.
Yep.
And you guys, you have some rigs for applying that as well, right?
Yeah, so we do. Yeah, that's the liquid fertilizer. It's all organic stuff, and we've only got 2 products of that. We came up with a product and it works, and that's what we stick with. So we do a lot of side dressing on row crops and alfalfa or whatever. It doesn't matter. You go through the irrigation. So we needed some bars because a lot of the bigger chemical guys, they got their own bars to loan out or let the customer use it. And we didn't have that, and it all worked out, but we decided to build our own bars and put the tanks on there to simplify it for the farmer. So that way, if the farmer don't have tanks on his tractor, no big deal. Use our bar. It's already got the tanks on it. It's set up, hook up to it, and away you go. So we built a few of those, and this last year was utilized them quite a bit. So we might be having to build a few more of those. But that's worked out pretty good. That's our own deal. We build it in house.
It's just a new business venture you guys were able to find and get started in. Keep diversifying out what you guys have. Keep
diversifying. The stuff's been working really good. Having some amazing information coming back. Increase the yields on the crops. You got a residual that carried over 2 times over from one application. And saving on the water, saving on chemical. Chemical guys might hate me right now, but that's just part of what it is, So it's all organic and trying to get things back the way it needs to be.
And that one's a live microbial in your liquids.
It's all live microbials, yep.
So you got to use it quick. So having those bars right there for a grower to be able to use if they're interested works out perfect.
Yeah, that works out good. Pretty much we want to know when they're going to start irrigating or when they're going to put it in the ground, and we'll deliver it that morning of or the afternoon of the day before, but you got to use it right away. It's not something that can just sit there for 2 weeks if you needed to or nothing like that. It's live and it's got a shelf life. So we deliver it the time the farmer needs it and get it in the ground and start irrigating, and it works from there. We got some customers we deliver truckloads to into some tanks that we set up for them, and we'll push off a whole load into a tank, and they got all their guys with their little ball traders or whatever pumping out of the big tank and going and inject it in all the fields that they're doing for the trees or grapes or whatever, and they'll take care of that part of it. We just deliver truckloads like that, and that works out pretty well too as well. So we take it wherever. If somebody wants it, we back to our slogan, right? You call, we haul. Yep. So we just make it, or you crack the whip and we make the trip. So there's that too. But
what do you think the biggest change has been in the trucking industry here over the last 2 or 3 years? It's probably changed drastically with a lot of DEF regulations coming in, things like that. What have you really seen the big difference in the business from when you started, 22 years ago you came in to really run the ship, and you've been here for 30 years?
Yeah, going on about 22 years now they've been here, roughly, So it's from when I first came here, we used to run a lot of mechanical engines, 1994 is when we finally got rid of the last Brownie transmission, which, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's basically 2 shifters, 2 sticks inside the truck that you got to shift them, where now it's all either one stick, or in today's world, a lot of automated transmissions because a lot of guys don't know how to run stick. You're right, a manual transmission. So it's all automated and they run. It's just like a vehicle, right? Press on the throttle and you go, or you step on the brake. That's what the trucks of today is pretty much going to now. But yeah, everything's electronic. Big thing now that everybody's going, they're pushing pretty heavily going onto this electric vehicles, going into CNG type of vehicles and getting rid of the diesel, but fossil fuel, you're not going to get rid of it all, because how do you make the batteries for the electric trucks? There's still petroleum in that. You're dashing your vehicles. Petroleum is in everything that we touch, so you can't get rid of it all the way as far as it goes. But the infrastructure is not there. That's the problem. The infrastructure for the electric vehicles is not there yet to handle the agenda, what they're trying to push,
I don't know if it can be there in the next 10 years. The amount that we have to build to get to that point. And it probably won't be the most efficient option for you guys that need to just keep pushing loads out, move quickly in the ag space.
Yeah, no, you can, because if you only got, they tell you 300 miles on a battery life of a electric truck. Well, that's bobtailing. That doesn't count with the load behind you. So now you cut that down in half. But the problem is, so you're going to go 150 miles. So you're going to go one way, you deliver one load, and you got to find a charging station somewhere to charge back up to be able to make it back home. There's no efficiency as far as any of that goes. And on top of that, those trucks they're so heavy that I think they're about 7,000 pounds heavier than an average diesel truck right now. So that means you're going to haul less payload because your weight rating is 80,000 pounds. Now, CNG trucks, they are giving you like 82 or 83,000, so 3,000 over your 80,000 mark, But again, what's the longevity of those motors? How long is it going to last? Those are all still
to be determined.
That's right. So the infrastructure's not all the way there. They're a long ways off. Great idea, but long ways off. And if you're going to do all these things, the weight rating for the trucks has to go up in order to haul more to offset it. But why not just go up right now like it is and move more product at the same with one truck running down the road, So there's a lot of things. It's up in the air, a lot of ways, I talk all this here. A lot of people in the same thought process as I am. There's a lot that may not be, but how do we justify costs and all that to do this here? Because one of those trucks is going to cost you about $300,000 to buy. It's already bad enough with the new trucks, diesel, costing anywhere from 175 all the way up to about 250, but at least you can get, 700, 800,000 miles out of one of those trucks.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stop every 150 miles and charge up the battery.
Not only that, I think too, like you have your mechanics in place probably at your shop, and now if you start moving to an electric sized vehicle, you're probably much moving closer to computer ran. And so now you probably need to go find people that are a lot more expensive for the operation too, just to keep them running.
Pretty much going to have to be an electrician in order to work on those trucks, all the batteries and generator motors and all kinds of stuff, whatever you got going on in there. So, yeah, it'll change everything in the trucking industry. It's going to change a lot if that's what they push on all the way through, And then does it justify? No, it doesn't. Maybe down the road, but right now it doesn't. You know? So that'd be a little bit tough to do that. You got corrosion. You're in and out of these dairies with manure and all that. That's really corrosive. What are you going to have issues with that with the terminals on electric trucks, So that's a whole another deal. So comes a lot of maintenance with that scenario for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I think they're safe majority right now, but I mean, you see news articles, right? Like what happened in San Francisco, I think it was, with the electric bus, right?
Yep.
On those hills, it loses braking because it's out of power now.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's designed the same exact way inside those electric semi trucks that are kind of moving to the marketplace now, but there's some dangers.
There's some stuff there. It's not all proven all the way through yet. Electric vehicles is probably fine. If you're running around a warehouse type of deal or whatever, great. You're running the ports, probably fine because you're running in circles right there. You can move a lot of loads real quick in a short distance and then get it charged up. You're good from there, I guess, But to be up and down the highway, the infrastructure's not there. You don't have just any place you can pull in and charge up a truck or anything like that. CNG, same thing. They got places, but there's not enough of them. Just like truck parking. There's not enough truck parking up and down the highways anywhere in the nation. It's limited, So if you're out of hours, how do you actually stop when you still got another hour to go to get to the nearest truck stop or anywhere you can actually stop safely and park and get your rest? There is no places. That's a big thing. That's a big thing that truckers face across the nation. There's not enough truck parking anywhere for these guys to be able to park and actually take their 10-hour break off and get some sleep. So that's a whole nother challenge there.
I think it's so interesting how you have this large size now trucking company, and I think there's probably owners for sure in the trucking company that run trucks still like you do. But I mean, exactly what your drivers are going through, what the pain points are for them, what's hard on the business, because you still do drive truck, and so do your boys. And I think even Mark, who's kind of like your right-hand man on the outside field stuff, right?
Everybody's got their
Class A.
Yep. Dispatch, we got Lance there. He's got his Class A just as well, So pretty much all of us got our Class A that we do drive, jump in when we need to. It's kind of my therapy. I enjoy driving at nighttime. The day's done, everybody's gone home. I'm going picking up some late loads or whatever. I just enjoy the heck out of it. I'm out there, So I enjoy it.
You said now, so it's funny is you're on a podcast right now, but you just got kind of into podcasting, you said, right? You haven't been a podcast listener for so many years. You kind of you were driving up here, said, "All right, listen to the last episode."
Yep.
Yeah, this is cool. I don't know, we'll see. So you like listening to. You told me a lot of like trucker podcasts, logistics podcasts, things like that. But what's the music you're putting in the truck? You said that the semi all has a nice stereo system. What are you listening to when you're cruising down the highway?
Well, I go from one extreme to the next. So I like some like really old classic type of country, or I go into more like the Metallica or AC/DC type of classic rock, That's the stuff that I like that, Or you listen to some other stuff, there's some old trucker songs out there, that play, and I enjoy listening to that stuff too.
Roll Home 18-wheeler, right?
Yep, we're Prisoner of the Highway,
I
mean, that's a good one too. That really gets you going on that part there, You get the Convoy song there, or Smoking the Bandit, Eastbound and Down. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Depends what you like. I go take a shower, I'll play some of that old stuff there, and I'll be in there and listen to all these kind of old music or whatever, and I finally go to bed, and my wife's like, "Boy, you're just aging by the minute in the bathroom," because she knows I'm listening to that kind of stuff there, but I just enjoy it. It's like, it takes me probably about 3 to 4 hours, usually about 3 hours to wind down from the day and I'll just sit in the bathroom. I'll be on my iPad, and it's like, I don't know what it is, but I'm in my own little space there, and it's got my fans blowing, so it's nice and cold in there.
You have fans in the bathroom?
Heck yeah, I got like a whole mission control station in there, holding my iPad so I can sit there and on the pot, I can look at it, and then I play that sucker and go. I got all these ideas going through my head, thinking about different scenarios or whatever, and believe it or not, I get a lot of ideas that pop up when I'm in the shower. I don't know why. I'm not talking about that part either. It's in my head. So, it's great. I get all kinds of ideas in there, It's just the wheels are still turning, so it takes a while to wind down, and then finally I'll go to bed and sleep for a few hours, and then be up again looking out the window, seeing who's all already came to work or not came to work, or, thinking about, what could I go outside and do, So there's sometimes I'll go drive around the yards, checking things out, get on the forklift, start moving trailers around to get them organized because they kind of bug me, and it really gets my hide a little bit is when somebody leaves the landing gear handle sticking straight out instead of folding it back down, that just, I don't know why. That's
one of your pet peeves. Then.
It is, yeah, I don't know why. It's a simple little thing, but, I think it's probably because I've been whacked by them a few times in the dark. You're walking by the trailer, next thing you know, it hits your leg, right? Because they left the handle out, so you fold them underneath there. That way you don't get nothing damaged, Don't hit you, and it doesning, and somebody else doesn't hit it when they drive by it or whatever.
Man.
But yeah, I got all kinds of stuff, dude.
And I'm sure nowadays, now you are a grandpa. Not a great grandpa yet, just grandpa, right?
Yeah, just grandpa, yeah.
What do you have, 3?
Yeah, we got 3. You got the oldest one is Jace. That's the first grandson there. He's the oldest. And then after him, he's got his sister, Sadie. And then those are both Jason and Chevelle's kids there. And then Paul Jr. and Logan, they just had their first baby there, Frankie. So, yep, she's a precious one there, too. They're all precious. Boy, I'm a big wuss. I start getting all teary-eyed when I think about the grandkids and all that, It's just unbelievable. It really tugs at my heart. So pretty much if I'm having a bad day, they'll bring the grandkids down, and then I'll see them, and I'll hold them and all that and play. And if somebody comes in and want to talk about business, like, hold on, I'm off right now. And I sit there and play with the grandkids, and then I kind of gather my thoughts a little bit and enjoy it, and I'm back in a better mood, And
I've seen that, actually. I went down to your place. It was just to go meet with you real quick, and I think it might be your mother-in-law had the grandkids or something. And she pulls up, and you said, hold on. Walked over to the car, made sure you got the grandkids out, hugged them.
Yeah.
Have a good day, kiss on the forehead. And, all right, now we can keep going. And
I love it.
That's such a cool thing, though. Mad respect for you on those pieces, that family is just such an important piece.
That's a big thing. And I missed out a lot. I say missed out. You got to make some sacrifices too, right? I mean, life is not just given to you. You got to work your butt off, save whatever you can, but you're making sacrifices, and usually you're trying to build something to be better, maybe for your kids down the road or something like that, And did I miss out a lot on the kids? Yeah, I was gone on the road, but I remember them. They'd ride with me in the truck whenever I'd go. I wouldn't take them if I'm tired, but if I'm got a good nice rest, everything's good, I'd let them ride with me. We'll make a run out, a trip. We'll do a load or so to Arizona and back, or to Utah and back, whatever, and we did a lot of that. Sometimes the wife, Laura, she'd ride with me, and actually when Paul Jr. was born, they all rode with me there, and she was there to take care of him. He'd ride in the front seat in his car seat and all that, and he slept all night long with no problem with the truck running, so that was pretty good times,
But those are such cool memories, though, for them now as they're adults and everything like that, right? They look back at it.
They can remember all that because they're pretty young. So I got some pictures on the wall there of the trucks that I used to have there, the flatbed stuff, and they're real small walking around. I don't know, they must have been about 3 years old or so, and getting on the truck, checking it out, stuff like that, It's pretty good. So now when you're young, you're trying to build something, and a lot of people say, well, life's not all about work. Well, it's not. You're absolutely correct. But you got to work to make a living to support your family. And depending on what lifestyle you want, there you go, work harder or not, And I work because I love to work. That's just my bad habit. That's what I do. People ask what my hobbies are. I don't really, trucks, I guess, it's always, I'm always around the equipment and coming up with ideas. It's all business. But I do like horsepower and all that kind of stuff like that. So we used to go to the beach, camping and riding out there, and get the sand cars or this or that, and everybody, that was a lot of good times there too, but when you're young, you got to build something. And then as you get older, hopefully you're a little bit more solid. And that's when the grandkids come along and you can really appreciate that, But it's like I tell the boys, I'm not working here for me. I'm working for you guys, because this is, if you guys want it, this is all gonna be for you guys. So I'm working for you guys to make this show happen. But they know that I love this, so you keep on going. And that's half the thing. Trucking, trucking is not, you can't just put one toe in it or not, right? You either got to be all in or you're out. It's one or the other. It's a tough business.
24/7 business.
It's 24/7. Yeah. I mean, you're always going with something.
I remember trying to find trucks to get gyp loads or whatever the next day. I mean, I'd be calling truckers at 10 o'clock at night. Oh, sorry if you're in bed, man, but 5 a.m. I need loads rolling.
Yeah.
And it's a hard business. I'm sure you still get phone. Well, hopefully not anymore. They're hopefully
I don't get as
down.
much as I used to. At nighttime now, everybody's been handling that part, so it's kind of strange a little bit because I don't get all those calls like you did. But every once in a while I get one, then I'm all excited. Right? I got a phone call in whatever time, so I'm all checking it all out, and I'll be up, wired up, just all on the go now, So it's a little bit different now, but at the same time, I'm involved. I like this whole thing, Manufacturing the compost, that's great, And, I mean, when I came from the dairy over here to Cain, it's like I never knew we could make manure look so pretty, and because we were on the dairy, we just spread the fields, just more, put 20 tons to the acre or 30, whatever, just load it up, right? All wheat seeds and all, But now with the compost side, if it's processed correctly, you kill off all the wheat seeds and the bad pathogens, you can leave all the good ones there, ready to go to work, So it's a big thing. And then building stuff, I love all that stuff. I don't have time to weld or do that, but I enjoy that too. So
do you keep like a CB radio in the house then?
No. I used to a long time ago. I had a base station in the house, right? Back in the days when truckers would actually talk on the CB. Today, I don't know. If I drive the truck, I used to turn the CB on, right? Figuring somebody's going to talk on there, or if you need to reach out to somebody or whatever the case is. Heck no. These suckers got them all turned off anymore, it seems like, So it's like, all right, well, turn it off and listen to radio then. It's a whole different deal now in the trucking industry as far as it goes.
People don't use them as much anymore?
No, because you got a lot of guys that come out of school. They were, they're not hardcore truckers or not like that. Not the old school guys. It's a whole different deal now. These guys are might be playing their stereo there with the TV going on there on the dash or something like that. Who knows what, That's all technology I don't know nothing about.
So do common truck drivers now kind of coming out in that school system you said, right?
There's a lot of that.
Do they get like CB names then?
No, these guys in today's world, they don't have any of that stuff. Back in my days, yes. I mean, for example, and I'll share this with everybody, my CB handle is corn cob. Go figure that one out, but it's corn cob, right? And I got that nickname was back in high school when we were playing football and all that. And I got a buddy, he's a good guy, and he's in the city/country type guy, right? And we're over there changing in the locker rooms, He's like, you know what? You look like a corn cob. That's what I'm gonna call you. Well, that became kind of my nickname in high school, and then I figured when I got in the truck and going for it there, because I got my CDL when I was 16 years old.
Oh wow!
So that was back when you can drive for your dad. You can't get paid, but you can drive. So I got it when I was 16 years old, got my license, and I was hammered down from there. And so I thought, well, they asked what your CB handle is. I was like, all right. So I come over with corn cob. I said, I'll just use that for that too. So now you can leave that to your imagination. It goes a lot of different directions, I guess. But
does like Mark or either of the boys, do they have CB handles?
No, because they're kind of coming in later years. Mark more so later on as far as it goes because he's a farmer,
Mm-hmm.
That's what he grew up in. His family business was farming and everything. The boys, they come with that, but it's kind of the past that time frame of that's more the newer generation. But my boys understand the trucks and understand what it's about, so it's a little bit different story. There's a lot of guys that don't even know what a fan belt is. If there's a problem with the truck, I don't know, I got a blinking light. Well, what's the light say? I don't know. It's orange, So it's like, okay, take a picture of it and send it to us, right? Because they can't even identify what the problem is because they don't understand the mechanics of it, or, I got a flat tire. Okay. Well, what side? Well, I don't know. I just heard one blow. Okay, well, why don't you get out and go look at it first and then call back and let us know exactly, what tire it is, what's the size of it, is it a super single, which is a wide base tire? Is it duals? That's where you got two tires on each side, and then what's the tire size, and then a lot of these guys, they don't understand all that stuff. So for us old timers, it's a little bit hard to understand some of that, but that's where it's at in today's world. People don't know, so you got to educate them, and usually we'll do that. When we realize a guy doesn't really know, we'll educate him. But we train guys, when they come to work here, we usually put them in the truck and ride with somebody for a couple days, or 3 days, whatever they need to do to understand it, and when they feel comfortable, then we'll put them in a truck and they can follow the next guy for a little bit, make sure, if you get a hauling, transporting liquid asphalt, that's, 400 degrees temperature wise, and that's, take that to the hot plants where they mix the HMA for paving the roads. And that there we'll train these guys too, because you don't want to get burned with that. You got to have all your safety gear on and all that. And you barely bump into the trailer if you got a full load on, and you can already put a blister on your arm really quick. So if you don't have all your safety gear on, so that's a big thing. So we'll train these guys. I want to make sure, when I talk to them, I want them to be scared, but I don't want them to be terrified, right? Because when you're not scared, things happen. So you got to be a little bit scared, right? Just to be cautious is what it is, So it's all worked out. Got a good group of guys. It just works out, and that's really important. Why we can grow? You got a lot of good people, all the way around.
And the other good thing about your company is you have the best gear, the best company gear around. You got the best hats. You got the best shirts.
Well,
you always have the best gear, Carhartt brand on like all your shirts. It's great. Yeah. Is there a meaning behind the colors that you chose? So you have red and blue are really the Cain staple. That's what you see going up and down the 99, the 5 freeway, moving lows. Is there a reason you chose those colors?
Well, I didn't choose those colors. So red, white, and blue has always been the colors for Cain Trucking, which is the greatest color in the world there, we're the greatest nation here, right? A lot of our issues within ourselves. But Bill Cain, he went to war, and when they dropped that Hiroshima bomb there, he says, I'm glad they did, because if it wouldn't have been, he wouldn't have been here today. So I'm assuming that it must be really there, because he was in the Navy. He was a firefighter on the Navy, and I'm assuming that's why those colors are there. It used to be, it's always been a dark metallic blue. We used to have a white stripe on there, is what usually was on the Cain truck, the old ones there. If you see some of the old trucks in the yard there, they had a white stripe, and then we kind of got away from the white stripe and just left the whole cab a dark metallic blue. The frame rails used to be like a Farmall type of red, but when we ordered the new trucks, so 2013 is when we ordered the first new trucks, because of this whole airboard carb coming into place, that's when we ordered it, and it was like, well, we want this color here. The factory didn't have it. They said, well, we got this color here. It's a Coke red. That's close enough, So we went ahead and got the Coke red, which actually in turn, it looked pretty damn sharp on the truck. So we
great, man.
So we just kept that. Trucks. We kept it that way. We kept our old logo the way we've always had it. That's on the trucks there, So that's kind of what it is. So pretty much our cabs are dark metallic blue. The frame rails are a Coke red. All the trailers, the frame rails and the ribs and everything is a Coke red. And then the wood that you see on there that's blue, that's actually a Pepsi blue. So go figure that's all about sodas. But red, white, and blue, that's what we are. And I'm proud of that too.
That's awesome.
So it looks sharp when it's clean. When they're dirty, I mean, their trucks are right now, we're running, we're busy. You got these little rains off and on, So the trucks are dirty right now. But once we get past that a little bit, we'll get them all cleaned up again. And every once in a while, shine them up. It just looks good. Yeah. And the guys take care of them. You see it. And the ones that don't, you see that too. But it's hard to keep a truck clean when you're in and out of the dairies, doing 10, 20 loads a day back and forth. It's hard, but, it all works out. You got to have pride, and that's a big thing. It doesn't start with me. It's all everybody involved.
It's everyone in your company.
Yep.
I think you told me last time, you said, one of my truck drivers didn't honk back at me. I called him and told him, hey, cheer up.
Yeah.
You're always the happiest guy in the room everywhere you go. So
well, I have my days, but you got to be positive on everything, and it's it's a lot of challenges, but you got to be positive. It starts all top. If you're positive and you're hoping it rolls down to everybody else too, just as well. I'm not no different than anybody else. I'm just a head beating post is what I am. Actually my wife is, she's a real boss, so I just go to work and do my thing. And you're hoping that everybody's happy too, just as well, and I see it. If I see some guys having a rough day or look a little sad, I call them up. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Just to see, I still like talking to the drivers and everybody in the company. I enjoy talking to everybody. I just don't have enough time sometimes to actually make my rounds like I would like to do to talk to everybody. But you try to cheer up, make everybody happy. It's a team effort.
Yeah, just at the scale you are now, I'm sure it's hard to be in touch with everyone on a weekly basis.
And that bothers me because I just like we have our Christmas party, right? We have that deal there. That's for vendors, customers, employees. I mean, friends. It's a whole bunch of people that come. And I enjoy the heck out of it. I have a great time and talk to a lot of people, see a lot of people. And when it's all said and done, I'm still kind of bothered because man, I didn't get to talk to that guy enough, or this person or that person, right? It still bothers me. It's just what it is. I feel like I didn't get to talk to everybody enough. But when you got about 400 some odd people that show up, that's pretty hard to talk to everybody.
Absolutely, man.
But it's
when people hear Paul's throwing a party, they're coming. They know it's good food.
It's all about food.
Yep.
I'm not no big drinker, nothing like that. I'm more about the meat. So that's the important part. But it's a good time. It's a little give back to everybody. And it's always a good time as far as that goes. But yeah, other than that, I mean, it's a program. That's what it is. Got to love what you do. Live it and breathe it. That's what they tell me. You live and breathe this stuff. Paul say, yes, I do. I love it. So it's a big thing.
Well, thank you for coming on today. I really just want to have a toast with you for the future generations of Cain. I want to see that go past the 100, go to 150, and the grandkids be involved. So excited for the growth and the continued success of Cain, and just how much of a loving person you are to all your employees, all of your customers. I mean, you're one of the best guys that light up the room every time that you come in. So
I appreciate it.
We love working with you. We love having you on, and I hope some of the audience got to see a little bit more into Paul. And if they're not using Cain Compost, not working with you on the trucking side either, they know that you're a genuine person that deserves that call to at least have that conversation.
If you don't deal with us now, just give us a call, reach out, and if there's something we can do, we'll definitely bend over backwards and make things happen. That's kind of what it is. You call, we haul, and just make these deals happen. Quality service, quality products, service at a fair price, and we just try to make it all happen and do it. And it's a lot of moving parts. Maybe outside everybody looks like we're a well-oiled machine. Behind the scenes, we're like screaming and pulling our hairs out, right? But it's just part of what it is to make all these deals happen. And it's fun though. I like creating jobs for people and doing the good jobs for the customers. And, you see when people tell me, man, I see your trucks all over the place. I love hearing that, because it's just like, yep, we are going all over the place. You're just trying to provide a service and do a good job doing it, So how big do we want to get? I don't know. I don't want to get too big where we're not good at anything. So what that limit is, I don't know, but we'll eventually figure out where it's going to be. And I don't want to be into numbers, right? I like to know people's names and be able to talk to everybody by name, not a number, So it's but the good thing is I got a long memory, so that's a big plus for me on that part. Missed out on the other part, but I got a long memory. So,
well, I appreciate it, and hey, I want to have a toast to future generations of Cain Trucking, man.
Appreciate it.
I'm
alive, and I see things mighty plain and saying my